Hello, this is Jim Connolly from Weston Nurseries. I'm the manager here at Chelmsford, and today I've been tasked with an interesting situation. I've been with Weston since 2013, but I've been in the green industry for over 40 years. And I'm also a certified horticulturist, a certified landscape professional. And what's out there, everybody's hearing about it, is AI. And a lot of people, even yourself watching this video right now, might say, hey, I need an answer to a question. I'm just going to go to AI. But is everything that AI is saying real? So today I've been challenged with going to town against AI to see exactly what my years of experience, my years of listening to customers, as well as just getting my hands in the dirt and working the ground just like you all do to kind of find out and see what successes and failures. You know, I've planted plants and they've died. But over time, I feel a little bit seasoned to answer pretty much every question that comes along. And today, I'm ready for the challenge against AI. So question number one, I have not seen any of these. I actually haven't even done any studying. I was asked, hey, do you want to look at the questions and kind of think about what your answers are? But I feel so confident that I'm going to answer the question pretty accurately that I don't need to worry about that. So I'm getting old, so I need to wear the old specs. All right, so let's see what the first question is. If I was redoing a garden in my existing front yard beds, what steps should I do to prepare the site? So you want to take and figure out your area. You want to take and cultivate your soil, blend in some organic matter like compost, peat moss, some lime to help give it some more nutritional value. You want to figure out the square footage so you can plan out how many plants you're going to use and what the spacing will be based on what type of plants. You're going to need to know whether there's sun or shade so you can figure out what plants to work into the garden when you're ready to go. And then you can come to the garden center and we can help you select those plants so you can take this garden bed and make it a beautiful part of your outdoor living. So that's my answer. What does AI have to say for that? Okay, so I just typed in the same question, and of course AI came up a lot quicker than my explanation, but there's a human kind of a confidence that I can portray to you that you wouldn't get from this machine. So it came up with a multiple number of bullet points: assess and plan, clear the area, improve the soil, addressing drainage issues. So that is something that I did not mention, and that is something that you probably want to do, so I missed that. After your planting is done, add mulch or weed barrier, mapping it out, which we did discuss, start planting, and then water and maintenance. So there were a few topics that I certainly missed in the whole general conversation, but I did hit most of those. They do elaborate into a couple of bullet points under each one of those. I think I had a little bit more information about specific type of compost or specific brand, because you might Google or AI compost and it might come up with 30 different types of manufacturers, but you're not available to purchase them because they're made out in California, not in, you know, Chelmsford, Hopkinton proper area. So we make our own compost in Weston, and it's a USDA certified product. You're not going to get that from AI. So that's my first question. We're going to go to number two now. So let me pull out number two. What type of amendments should I add when doing a new planting? Okay, so you should be adding compost. You should be adding lime. You want to get a soil test before you do any of these so you have some idea of what it is. You may even want to get a test that's sent to like UMass Extension to find out your organic matter, your nitrogen, your potassium and phosphorus levels. But you want to amend the soil with organic matter, and then if the soil's too heavy, you might want to add something like that Love Your Soil, which will help open it up. You may want to introduce some other products that are necessary to make it work. Okay, so when planting something new, what should you add? And there's just 2 or 3, it's taken a little longer this time. Organic matter, of course, for overall soil health. Nutrient boosters such as organic fertilizer, bone meal, kelp meal, soil conditioners. If soil's clay or sandy, you add different things like the sand or gypsum, which is what is the Love Your Soil will definitely help you with. One thing that it didn't mention was the mycorrhizae and microbes. So mycorrhizae is in our Bonide product, the biotone. So when we do recommend when you do a planting, you incorporate the biotone in the soil, which has the mycorrhizae. And that's a product that develops symbiosis relationship between the roots, and it creates the ability for more water and nutrient uptake for the plants. So There was a few things that I missed right off, but if you got our Weston Nurseries plant guidelines, it would say right on there, use your biotone to successfully plant your new plantings. So, excellent. Okay, question number 3. I water my plant regularly, but it's still wilting and the leaves are turning yellow. What am I doing wrong? So more than like you're overwatering. So when plants' leaves start to wilt, that means that the soil is so saturated that the air can't get into the soil and the roots start to die off and the leaves start to kind of wilt because the roots are dying off. And if they start turning yellow, it could also mean that you're nutrient deficient. So you're watering it so often, you're moving the nutrients away from the plant and it's not able to pick up those nutrients it needs to grow. But usually it's an overwatering. If you're not watering it enough, that also could mean that it's wilting because it needed the moisture and you didn't give it. The yellowing leaves could also be part of the reason why it's not getting the water. So it's usually over or under watering. So let's check AI and see what they have to say. Okay, so AI's response. So this is 6 bullet points: overwatering, underwatering, poor drainage, nutrient deficiency, lighting issues, and pest or diseases. I pretty much nailed it. So I'm proud to say I should get a star for my forehead for that one. Okay, so our 4th question is, what are some great foundation plant recommendations that thrive in a soil that's very dry or drier conditions? So first off, plants need water regardless if they're in a dry condition or not. That's the way it is. Even cactus out in the desert needs some moisture. But basically your plants that do well for drier conditions are your needle evergreens because they have a small surface area, and some of your deciduous shrubs typically do better. A lot of your sedum and the Delosperma are great perennials that can tolerate that kind of dry kind of situation. Lavender likes it dry, they don't like it wet, so that's another perennial that does well. There's some ornamental grasses that will do well in dry conditions as well. You do want to improve the soil with maybe some peat moss or some compost to help hold onto water during drier periods. Never plant a broadleafed evergreen because those plants have so much surface area and they'll evaporate all that moisture and then they'll dry up and die because of the drought conditions or the drier conditions. So those are my answers to that question. There are specific needle evergreens, like spruce or juniper, but pretty much all needle evergreens could work well. So let's see what AI has to say here. And it says, evergreens for structure and year-round color. Juniper, arborvitae, mugo pine, flowering shrubs that have seasonal interests. Russian sage, rock rose, barberry, which is invasive so we don't sell it. Summer sweet, potentilla. Perennials, lavender, sedum, thyme, catmint. So I mentioned a few of those. And then ornamental grasses, switchgrass, fountain grass, little blue stem. So I did give you more of a broader picture than a more specific, but at least I kind of gave you some understanding that there are plants that would take that drier condition. And some of that, we could walk around the yard and I can show you those plants. You can look at the different textures. You're not going to get that from AI. You might go online and start to order a switchgrass, get it delivered from some online retailer and say, oh God, I wish I never did that. This thing is ugly. I really don't like it. Where you come in and see a certified horticulturist and you can see the plant and say, oh, that looks awesome. I can see that in my yard. Arborvitaes you could put in your foundation, but if you planted an arborvitae that was 2 foot tall and it grows 30 foot tall, it's going to block your windows. It's just not going to look good. And barberry, we found that to be invasive. That's on the list of non-saleable plants in Massachusetts. We don't have availability to it. If you saw this, you wouldn't know that. So it doesn't give you the real down-to-earth information that you can get from coming to a garden center like Weston Nurseries. So here we go. Question number 5. I'm looking to build a privacy screen. What kind of plants would be 3 feet diameter or 20 foot tall for screening? So if you're looking for evergreens that are going to grow that tall, there's arborvitaes, there's junipers. If you're looking for something that's going to be great for shade, part sun, is hemlock. There's different chamaecyparis or cypresses that would do that, but much slower growing. So those are all needle evergreens that typically work well for screening. And some of them grow 2 inches a year and some of them grow 2 feet a year. It's also important to realize they all have different textures, so depending upon what kind of foliage color you're looking for as well. So let's see what AI said. Evergreens, emerald green arborvitae, skyrocket juniper. First of all, skyrocket juniper is so narrow growing and the branches grow like this that once some snow gets in it, it bends over or splits out. So it's really not a good screening plant. Yeah, it grows 3 foot wide, but if 2 winters you have snow coming off and splitting it open and it breaks a branch, why do you want to go through that? We don't even sell skyrocket juniper for that reason. We do sell it for maybe planting in front of a house where it's going to stay narrow in a tight space, but not for a hedge. That was number two. Number 3, Italian cypress. Go to Italy, not in New England. It's not going to survive the winter, so here you go. Green giant arborvitae is probably the go-to plant. That's the goat, if you will, because it's fast growing, it's evergreen, but the green giant grows 5, 6, 7 foot wide. It doesn't grow 3 foot wide. Now there's leprechaun that we have, and there's junior green giant, which is a narrower growing one, but still that's going to be wider than 3 foot. There are deciduous trees that you can plant in your yard that also act as screening, but in the winter they're going to lose their leaves, so they really don't screen as well as an evergreen. This did give me some seasonal plants for the winter, for screening, your columnar sugar maple, your European hornbeam. There's lots of deciduous trees I could have gone down that road, but I didn't want to overwhelm. And this is what AI is going to do. It's going to give you too much information that your mind is just going to be overloaded with too many thoughts, and then you're not going to know what to do. You're going to overthink it. So coming back to Weston Nurseries, asking one of our certified horticulturists, one of our landscape specialists, we can give you the right information. And there's the test. I know all these answers. I did a very good job, I think. I think I'm going to go to bed tonight knowing that AI is not better than Jim Connolly today. I'm having so much fun with this AI competition that I said to Noah, who does all our videos, I want to do a 6th one. I hope I'm not keeping you too long. I know you guys have a lot of things to do, but I think this is an interesting challenge to all of you. It's always good to question, and certainly I'm here to learn and develop the right strategy so that you can succeed in the garden. But I wanted to do one more because I think this is a very interesting question, and I pulled it out when I picked out the last one, and I said I'm going to try this one for number 6. So what time of the day is best for watering plants and why? So plants evaporate most of their moisture during the daytime when the sun is out and when it's actively growing, of course. So middle of the day is definitely not a good time. So it's always been water it in the morning or water it when dusk. So sun up, sun down. That's always the better time because you can get the water to stay there longer and the plant doesn't cause itself to be looking for water more regularly as you water in the thing. So that's what I've been told. That's what I've done. I've watered during the day. Yeah, I see that, I got to go back and water it again. But I think it all starts with the health of the soil. If you have a healthy soil that holds on to water, you don't necessarily have to water as much. Now, one of the products that I'm a fan of is called Hydrotane. Let me see if we have some. Oh yeah, here's some right here. So Hydrotane is a surfactant. What this does is it actually pulls the molecules that are in the atmosphere into the root zone. That water molecule is hitting the lawn as morning dew, but it's not getting into the soil. This product is not going to hurt the plants. It's actually going to help the plant by drawing that moisture into the ground and causing it to have more moisture. So if you use products like compost or this, what you're doing is extending the period of time that you need to water your plants so you don't have to water as frequently. It doesn't matter what time of the day you're watering because of that reason. So let's see what AI has to say, because I don't think it knows anything about all these other products. Okay, so AI, what is the best time to water plants? Early in the morning, ideally between 5 a.m. and 9 a.m. Here's why. Cool temperatures, less evaporation, healthier plants, prevention of diseases. Leaves dry out faster in the morning, reducing the risk of fungal diseases that thrive in prolonged moisture. Very good point, something I overlooked. But leaf diseases only happen on some plants. For instance, I've planted plants, vegetables, flowers. Marigolds, they don't get anything. Well, what does it matter? So this is talking a lot about problems that happen to some plants, not every plant. It didn't even get into the whole Hydrotane thing or adding a compost. It just said what's the best time. If you really ask a question like that and you get just a direct answer, it doesn't tell you enough information. And it's like calling a doctor and saying, hey, I got a pain in my back. They want to come in and do tests to find out what's going on. You know, did you pull something? Did you twist something? You know, and then maybe have an x-ray or then an MRI. They need all those facts to make a decision. I'm not going to take an MRI of your plant, but I'm going to ask you questions about maybe what you see around it to make a common sense answer that can give you the right solution so you can succeed. AI is not always going to ask these questions and give you that information. So today, I was up for the challenge. I was asked 6 different questions. I answered them to the best of my knowledge with 40 plus years of this industry. AI answered some of them, and I did forget some stuff, which is fine, but it also said some stuff that was really irrelevant to what the topic was. So I want you to take this AI information and kind of use it for your best judgment. Use the tools that are available to answer some of your questions, but make sure you do reach out to one of our expertise individuals at any of our locations, and we'll be more than happy to give you the right information so that you can succeed in the garden for all your landscaping projects. And if you guys have any questions, you can leave them in the comment below, and we'll try to reply back to you with our answers. Of course, you might do that and then put it up against AI to see exactly where I'm at and put me under the ring again to test me, but that's okay. I get that at home with my wife anyway, so I'm used to being put under the ring. I'm just joking. She's great most of the time. Just kidding. So anyways, this is Jim Connolly signing off and thanking you for listening in to my AI challenge, and we'll see you next time on another video to see what I could be tested on as well.